Hello and good evening. You're watching Express News with me, Nancy Kohli Mahajan. Let's take a look at the top stories of the day. It's an action-packed day for Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Saudi Arabia. The Prime Minister meets Saudi King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, holds bilateral talks. Prime Minister Modi will also hold a separate round of talks with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. An agreement on the Strategic Partnership Council is expected to be signed during the visit. King Salman will also host a banquet in the honor of Prime Minister Modi. An agreement on the Strategic Partnership Council is expected to be signed during the visit. King Salman will host a banquet in the honor of Prime Minister Modi. Launch of the integration of the e-Migrate and Saudi e-Tawthiq portals for the benefit of the workers is also on the cards. An MOU is likely to be signed during the visit to launch the RuPay card in Saudi Arabia, which will be very useful for not only the large Indian community but also Hajj and Umrah pilgrims. Prime Minister Modi will also deliver the keynote address at the third session of the Future Investment Initiative Forum in Riyadh. The FII is also known as the Davos of the Desert. The third FII session is organized under the Vision 2030, that is a blueprint for economic transformation of Saudi Arabia through diversification of its oil-based economy. Several initiatives are being undertaken by Saudi Arabia to fulfill the vision. The aim is to work alongside the global strategic partners and investment managers. Under its Vision 2030, Saudi Arabia has selected 8 countries for forging strategic partnership. Under its Vision 2030, Saudi Arabia has selected 8 countries for forging strategic partnership. These include India, China, the UK, the US, France, Germany, South Korea and Japan. Though a short visit, it is very intense and strong on deliverables and hopes to further strengthen the growing strategic relationship between the two nations. Prime Minister Narendra Modi met with the Saudi Minister of Labour and Social Development Ahmed bin Sulaiman Al Raji. Prime Minister Modi also met the Saudi Arabia's Minister of Energy, His Royal Highness Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman. The leaders had a productive meeting. Both the dignitaries talked about the efforts to improve energy cooperation. And earlier, the Saudi Minister of Environment, Water and Agriculture Abdul Rahman bin Abdul Mohsen Al Fadle called on Prime Minister Modi. Both the sides held productive discussions towards exploring new areas of cooperation in agriculture, food processing and water technologies. Earlier, the Prime Minister held bilateral meeting with the King of Jordan, King Abdullah ibn Al Hussein in Riyadh. Both the leaders exchanged views and working closely together to strengthen the ties across sectors, especially in trade and investment, human resources development and people-to-people ties. In an interview to Arab News of Saudi Arabia, Prime Minister Modi praised Saudi Arabia's role as an important and reliable source of India's energy requirements. The Prime Minister expressed satisfaction over cooperation in the field of counter-terror, security and strategic issues. He said that India and Saudi Arabia are working together within G20 to reduce inequality and promote sustainable development. Prime Minister Modi said that agreements are to be signed on Strategic Partnership Council, stressing on the need for deepening bilateral ties in various fields. The Prime Minister said that Kingdom's role is important for reliable and India's energy requirements. Prime Minister also highlighted results of India's key reforms announced in recent years. The Prime Minister said that India's position in the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index has jumped 79 positions. Prime Minister Modi said that major flagship initiatives offers huge opportunities to foreign investors. He also expressed happiness to note Saudi Arabia too embarked upon the reform program as part of their Vision 2030. The Prime Minister said that Asian powers like India and Saudi Arabia share similar security concerns in their neighborhood. The Prime Minister also said that there is a need for collective efforts for the growth of all with everyone's trust. He also said that Saudi Aramco will participate in major refinery and petrochemical project on India's west coast. The Prime Minister said that he is looking forward to participation of Aramco in India's strategic petroleum reserves. The 28-member delegation of European Union MPs visited Srinagar today. They will be meeting the Jammu and Kashmir administration officials and the local residents of Srinagar. They're also likely to call on the Jammu and Kashmir governor. Meanwhile, in Jammu and Kashmir, as many as 1.6 lakh students appeared in the border school education examinations at 1,500 centres across Kashmir. Class 12 examinations will commence from tomorrow, in which 48,000 students will appear at 633 centres. In Maharashtra, Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has expressed confidence that he will lead the next government in the state for the next 5 years. He also said that the BJP Shiv Sena will soon form the government, while pushing aside claims that any 50-50 formula was agreed upon between the two coalition partners. Justice Sharad Arvind Bobde has been appointed as 47th Chief Justice of India. Justice Bobde will take oath on 18th November, a day after incumbent Ranjan Gogoi demits the office. Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister Dr. P.K. Mishra presented the warrant of appointment to Honorable Chief Justice Designate Justice S.A. Bobde. He will have a tenure of 17 months and would demit office on 23rd April 2021. President Ramnath Kovind presented the National Corporate Social Responsibility Awards at Vigyan Bhavan today. The awards have been instituted by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs to recognize the corporate initiatives in the area of CSR to achieve inclusive growth and sustainable development. These awards are the highest government recognition in the domain of CSR. Addressing the gathering, the President said that the government is sensitive about the need to calibrate the CSR regime to make it more effective. He's also asked CSR to set a target for the welfare of orphans and Divyangjans. The President also urged those who were in attendance there to motivate their employees to do more for the service of the society. Addressing the event, the Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman appreciated the role of corporate sector for giving back to society. And in a humanitarian gesture during the program, President Ramnath Kovind and the Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman came down the stage and inquired about the health and the well-being of a woman security personnel who had fallen down at the event. With an aim to curb street crime, the Delhi police launched 15 Prakhar vans to control street crimes in the national capital. And giving boost to the efforts to control crime, the Delhi police has added another 15 vans to its tally. These vans will be deployed especially in the vulnerable spots which registers higher numbers of crimes. Notably, one woman staff will also be deployed in each van. The police personnel have been given special training to deal with any crime there. The move aims at providing a sense of safety among Delhiites by controlling crime in the national capital. The equity benchmark Sensex shot up nearly 582 points on broad-based buying by participants, buoyed by encouraging quarterly in earnings and the US-China trade deal optimism. The 30-share Sensex soared over 666 points before settling 581.6 points, or 1.48% higher at 39,831. It hit an intraday high of 39,917 and a low of 39,254. The broader NSE Nifty rallied 159 points, or 1.37% to close at 11,786. Meanwhile, the Indian rupee appreciated marginally to 70.86 against the US dollar intraday. The Brent crude futures, the global oil benchmark, fell 0.97% to $60.9 per barrel. The gold prices on Tuesday tumbled 548 rupees to 38,857 rupees per 10 grams in the national capital, in tandem with the tepid global market trends, according to HDFC Securities. The silver prices fell 0.19% to 45,945 rupees per kilogram as participants reduced their exposure at the spot market. Transactions using India's own domestic payments platform, the Unified Payments Interface, the UPI, hit a landmark of 1 billion in October. That's 3 years after its launch. The UPI also recently crossed 100 million users. This achievement makes it the fastest adoption of any payment system anywhere else in the world. Alright, we'll get you more news now, but for now we are going across live now to a media briefing by the External Affairs Ministry.
At his meeting with His Majesty during that visit, both leaders expressed their deep satisfaction at the excellent state of relations between India and Saudi Arabia, at the important decisions taken during the visit of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia to India, and express their happiness at the Strategic Partnership Council, which is being launched, and the agreement for which will be signed later in the evening. Both leaders agreed that this high-level mechanism will strengthen partnership in all areas, including political, defense and security, culture and people-to-people contacts, trade and investments, etc. Prime Minister thanked His Majesty in enhancing energy cooperation as well as ensuring regular supply of crude to India, including in the aftermath of the attacks on Aramco installations. He welcomed the Kingdom's Vision 2030 and the desire of corporate India to participate in this process. Both leaders condemned terrorism in all its form and manifestations and appreciated the close cooperation on security matters between the two countries. His Majesty commended the contribution of nearly 3 million strong Indian community to the progress and development of Saudi Arabia. There has been considerable progress since the visit of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince to India in February 2019. Saudi Arabia has immediately increased the Hajj quota for Indian nationals to 200,000 this year itself, as agreed upon in February 2019. 450 Indian prisoners have also been released so far. Several MOUs will also be signed later in the evening, which will reflect the progress which has taken place in our relations since February 2019. Later this afternoon, Prime Minister will be addressing the third session of the Future Investment Initiative Forum, where he will deliver the keynote address. The FII is organized by the Kingdom's Sovereign Wealth Fund, the Public Investment Fund. The forum is also popularly referred to as Davos in the desert. Prime Minister will also be meeting His Royal Highness the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia in delegation level talks this evening. The recently appointed Saudi Minister of Foreign Affairs will also be calling on Prime Minister separately. After the meeting with His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, the agreement on setting up the Strategic Partnership Council will be signed by the Prime Minister and the Crown Prince. In addition to this, there are several agreements and MOUs which we expect to sign after the meeting. Just to give you a sense of the various MOUs and agreements which will be signed, I would like to read out the following list. One is MOU on defense industries collaboration. Second is an agreement on security cooperation. The bilateral air services agreement. MOU on cooperation in renewable energy. MOU on cooperation of medical products regulation. MOU on drug demand reduction and prevention of local trafficking in narcotic drugs, etc. MOU between the Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserves Limited and Saudi Aramco. MOU between the Foreign Service Institutes, the diplomatic institutes of both countries. Agreement between the Indian Oil Corporation, Middle East, and the Al Jairi Corporation of Saudi Arabia. This is for downstream cooperation in Saudi Arabia for retail outlets. MOU on the Atal Innovation Mission, MOU between the two stock exchanges, MOUs on Hajj-related cooperation, and also MOU on Rupee card. This is what I have for you today. Thank you very much. Do we have time for
maybe we just have time for one question, one of the questions. We will combine it. Anyone?
Any kind of investment figure that India has committed to invest in the near future in Saudi Arabia on the sectors?
I think one more. That will happen, that will be clarified when it is being signed.
If we could get any figures on the strategic reserves, how much are we looking at expanding it? And also, what is the latest status on the West Coast refinery?
Thank you.
As regards the investment figures, of course there is a commitment of from the Saudi side to invest $100 billion in India, and that is something which we have progressed quite far. Apart from the West Coast refinery investment, there are also other investments that we are looking at, and for example the NIIF. No, I understand. I'm just coming to it. NIIF, we are also looking at investments. On the other hand, as far as Indian investments in Saudi Arabia is concerned, we of course have substantial investments here. Many important companies are taking projects, and they are also looking into various other projects. And in fact, His Majesty welcomed the participation of the Indian private sector in Saudi Arabia. But I don't think that we have given an indication of the amount or the overall amount which we are not really pledging anything as such, but we are confident that there will be a huge spurt in Indian investment into Saudi Arabia. As regards the strategic petroleum reserves, we are looking at Padur. I think that's what we are looking at, and that is something which the Saudi Arabian side are also very keen to take up. So it will be a matter of time before we clinch the details and the terms and conditions. And the MOU, of course, is being signed during this visit. And on the West Coast refinery, there has been some requirement for a study which they are conducting. They had, as you know, it is not just Aramco, but it's also ADNOC, which is participating in it, apart from Indian public sector companies. So they are looking at, confirming some of the parameters of the project. And once these parameters are confirmed, I think there is determination on all sides to take this forward. And they have also identified a newer location in Maharashtra, and we are confident that this should be taking off very soon.
It won't be Raigad in
Raigad is being considered.
is being considered.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you very much. When we don't have time, I think we have to leave very soon. Thank you all for coming.
So that was the briefing by the External Affairs Ministry, of course, vis-a-vis Prime Minister Modi's visit to Saudi Arabia, and he is talking about the several MOUs that will be signed shortly, expected to be signed, and what transpired during that meeting when Prime Minister Modi met with the Crown Prince. And of course he was also talking about how Both the leaders have condemned terror in all its forms. Remember, all eyes are also going to be on the MOUs, the signing of agreements that will take place shortly, and of course also the launch of the India-Saudi Arabia Strategic Partnership Council that will open a new era of cooperation in various sectors between India and Saudi Arabia, deepening the ties, deepening the partnership that already exists between the two nations. All right, let's get back now to the Express news that we were getting you earlier, and talking about more news. The National Payments Corporation of India, that launched the domestic payments platform 3 years ago and operates it as well, aims to take the fund transfer system to other countries such as Singapore and the UAE. The RBI has brought new notes worth 1700 crore rupees on the occasion of Diwali. Highest demand is of 10, 20 and 50 rupee note. There has also been a demand of smaller currency notes rather than the big notes, and in fact there's been a demand of a 20 rupee note as well. The US-based Amazon is pumping in over 4,400 crore rupees in its various units in India, including marketplace and food retail, to provide them more ammunition to compete against arch-rival Flipkart. Amazon, which is logged in a battle against Flipkart, had registered cumulative losses of over 7,000 crore rupees across various units in 2018-19. However, the fresh funding is indicative of Amazon's confidence in the Indian market. The shares of Interglobe Aviation fell 3% on Tuesday after the DGCA asked the Indigo not to use A320 Neo planes, which are fitted with the PW engines that have already been used for over 3,000 hours, or face grounding of the aircraft. The shares of the ICICI Bank on Tuesday jumped 2% after the lender witnessed an improvement in asset quality for the September quarter. An earthquake of 6.6 magnitude joined central Mindanao in the southern Philippines, although no injuries have been reported till the report last came in. The authorities have advised people to remain outside from the buildings in the affected areas, as aftershocks are still expected. The supporters and the opponents of Bolivian President Evo Morales marked an end to a day of protests with election rallies. The country has been facing demonstrations since 20th October, when its electoral tribunal suspended the publication of results from electronic account, which gave President Morales a fourth term. Violent protests in Iraq entered its fifth consecutive day. Thousands of protesters gathered at Tahrir Square in central Baghdad, defying the imposed curfew. Security forces fired the tear gas on demonstrators protesting against the Prime Minister Abdul Mahdi's government and economic hardship. The protests in Lebanon intensified, with protesters thronging at the roads and blocking the passage of traffic. Lebanon has been witnessing demonstrations since 17th October against economic crisis and the graft accusations against politicians. In Peru, Sabancaya volcano is raging out toxic gases, volcanic material and ash high onto the sky. Sabancaya, which is Peru's most active volcano, is going through eruptive period since 2016. Official sources said that the eruption reached 200 meters high into the air. In Chile, violent clashes between protesters and security forces resulted into a massive fire in downtown Santiago. Protesters pelted stones and rocks at the vehicles of security forces, due to which forces had to fire water cannons. In Britain, Parliament again has rejected Prime Minister Boris Johnson's latest bid for a general election on 12th December. The motion failed with 299 votes in favour and 70 against. However, it fell shy of the 434 votes, which is two-thirds of all the MPs required to pass. In Los Angeles, a fast-moving fire broke out, destroying over 8 homes. The fire started near Getty Center as complex and spread to 500 acres. According to officials, no casualties were reported as yet. In California, Kincaid, which is most destructive blaze, the Kincaid fire further raged. The fire has destroyed 66,000 acres of land and 96 homes in Sonoma County. In Los Angeles, over 10,000 people have been evacuated as Getty wildfire has further intensified. Evacuation warnings have been issued. Community halls and other shelters have been decked up with the food, medical and other services. Hong Kong's embattled leader Carrie Lam said that Hong Kong has fallen into recession and might not have achieved any financial growth this year. In Costa Rica, anti-narcotics police has seized 954 kilograms of cocaine, which was hidden in a container headed for Belgium. Authorities said that cocaine was hidden in 29 bags alongside banana pulp. Shark attacked 2 British men in northeast coast of Australia, due to which one had his foot bitten off and another was injured. The tourists were on a snorkeling tour near Airlie Beach in the popular White Sunday Passage region when they were attacked. Joshua Wong, who is Hong Kong's pro-democracy activist, lambasted the government for banning him in participating in the upcoming district council elections. He termed the move as politically driven. In northeastern Brazil, thick mysterious sludge has been washing the shore since 2 months. The sludge, which has washed away 2,000 kilometers of tropical coastline, is impacting the wildlife and local business in the region. Turkish diver Sahima Ikrumen broke Guinness World Record by diving into icy water of Turkey's Glin Cave, which dates back to the Ice Age. She swam 100 meters without fins in one single breath. The 32-year-old diver dedicated her record to Turkish soldiers. Hundreds of tourists formed long queues to climb Australia's Uluru soon after dawn. They formed this queue a day before permanent ban on the climb takes effect following a decade-long fight by indigenous people to close the trek. About 100 villagers and activists joined in a spiritual ceremony on the Mekong River near Thai-Laos border in Loei province as part of a protest against Laos's Shayaburi Dam. They said that the dam will bring unpredictable impacts to communities along the lifeline river. In a sign of protest, the life extension ceremony that is normally done to cast evil out of the living was done for the river, which activists from the Freedom Mekong group say is in danger of dying. Fans in Paris were delighted with the release of the latest Asterix adventure that hit stores on Thursday, entitled Asterix and the Chieftain's Daughter, featuring for the first time in its 60-year history a female heroine. Thousands of pumpkins of all the shapes and sizes are ready for Halloween at the Pick Your Own Pumpkin Patch in Essex. The farm features an 8-acre corn maze amongst the pumpkin patch for visitors to race round before picking up a pumpkin. Queen fans are giving renditions of 3 of the rock band's hit songs in new user-generated music videos. More than 10,000 people from 120 countries took part in the You Are the Champions project after the British band asked fans to submit musical and artistic versions of Bohemian Rhapsody, Don't Stop Me Now, and A Kind of Magic. 1,000 feet high building has been dug up in Manhattan, which offers a sweeping bird's eye view of the city. The edge is being built as part of the New York City's luxury Hudson Yards complex. Annual Sondring Sand Sculpture Festival observed in the west coast of Danish. 40 artists from around the world have created a 200-meter-large magnificent sand sculpture of a robot. Scientists have developed a new artificial intelligence system that can suggest helpful tips after looking at the picture of an outfit. System called Fashion Plus Plus uses visual recognition system to analyze the color, pattern and the texture of the garments. Atsushi Monbetsu, an Ainu community hunter, is making all the efforts to conserve his community's identity in Japan's northern island of Hokkaido. Although he is a professional hunter, but he pursues it in order to promote his endangered community's identity. And Rome's oldest coffee bar, Cafe Greco, survived closure after winning a stay of eviction in a legal battle against a massive rent hike. Nestled via Condotti, the coffee bar opened in 1760 and since then has served espresso and cappuccinos to pretty much every famous person that passed through the city. Long-time teammates Sourav Ganguly and Rahul Dravid will reconnect in Bengaluru on Wednesday as the BCCI president and the head of the National Cricket Academy respectively to discuss the roadmap of India's cricket feeder line. Dravid, who took charge as the NCA chief in July, has already drawn roadmap for the institution, and Ganguly is expected to give his inputs when the two former captains meet. Uncertainty loomed over Bangladesh captain Shakib Al Hasan's availability for the upcoming tour of India after the country's cricket board chief Nazmul Hasan questioned his attitude amid reports that he is said to be banned for not reporting a corrupt approach 2 years ago. The star all-rounder could reportedly be banned for 18 months by the ICC, compounding the Bangladesh cricket board's problems ahead of the tour of India. Star Indian badminton duo of Satvik Sairaj and Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty, who finished runners-up in the BWF World Tour 750 event French Open last week, move up by 2 spots in the men's doubles rankings, equaling their career best world number 9. FC Goa and Bengaluru FC played out a 1-all draw in the Hero Indian Super League on Monday after Ferran Koromanen's penalty cancelled out Udanta Singh's opener for the Bengaluru team. Jamshedpur FC will look to make it 2 wins in a row when they host a depleted Hyderabad FC in a Hero Indian Super League clash at the JRD Tata Sports Complex tonight. The visitors, playing their debut season, come into the match on the back of a 0-5 drubbing at the hands of ATK. 4-time Asian medalist Shiva Thapa secured a medal at the Olympic Test event for boxing by winning his quarter-final bout. 6 other Indians, including former junior world champion Nikhat Zareen, were guaranteed a medal even without a fight, as they either got buys or were helped by the small size of their respective draws. India's leading squash player Joshna Chinnappa crashed out in the pre-quarterfinals of the CIB PSA Women's World Championship after a straight-game defeat to top seed Noor El Shirbini. Joshna, ranked 12th in the world, went down 5-11, 3-11, 6-11 in the round of 16 match on Monday night. Roger Federer withdrew from the Paris Masters in order to pace himself for the next year, while Marin Cilic and Jo-Wilfried Tsonga reached the second round. While number 3 Federer claimed his 10th Basel title on Sunday but decided to skip the final Masters event of the season at Barsi Arena. Ramakumar Ramanathan of India and Michael Elgin of Russia have been drawn to meet Gonçalo Oliveira of Portugal and Fa Jingsun of China in the doubles first round match in the $135,400 Shenzhen Longhua ATP Challenger tournament in China. While third seeds Jivan of India, pairing with Adil Shamsuddin of Canada, will cross swords with the Chinese duo of Jie Kui and Hao Wu in another doubles first round fixture. Novak Djokovic said that he sincerely hopes Andy Murray can continue his comeback from hip surgery and return to the upper echelons of tennis next year. Murray contemplated retirement earlier this season before undergoing a career-saving hip surfacing operation. While number 1 Novak Djokovic admitted that rival Rafael Nadal is in a much better position to end the year in the top spot in the rankings. Speaking ahead of the Paris Masters, Djokovic said he's aware he needs to win all his matches to stand a chance. However, it remains of no concern to him. While number 5 Simona Halep beat Canadian teenager Bianca Andreescu in 3 sets at the WTA Finals in China. The match was the first ever meeting on the tour between 2 of this season's Grand Slam champions. Halep sits second in the purple group at the WTA Finals, behind world number 8 Elina Svitolina, following Ukrainian straight sets victory over Karolina Pliskova. Naomi Osaka has withdrawn from the WTA Finals in Shenzhen due to a right shoulder injury. Osaka withdrew hours before her second match at the year-end championships against fellow Grand Slam winner Ashley Barty and will be replaced by alternate Kiki Bertson of the Netherlands. Frank Ribery has received a 3-match ban and had been fined €20,000 after taking his frustration out on the linesman following Fiorentina's defeat against Lazio in Serie E. Fiorentina fell to a 2-1 reverse at home on Sunday night after Ciro Immobile scored a last-gasp winner for the visitors before Luca Ranieri was sent off for the hosts. Detroit Pistons edged past Indiana Pacers 96-94 to make it a 2-all win-loss record in the Eastern Conference of this season's NBA championship. Derrick Rose made a driving layup with 28.3 seconds left to give Detroit the lead. The Pistons now stand at the 7th positions in the conference table. Bobby Portis scored a season-high 28 points against his former team, including a go-ahead 3-pointer with 107 seconds remaining as New York Knicks beat Chicago Bulls 105-98 for their first victory of the season. In other matches, Toronto Raptors, Atlanta Hawks, Golden State Warriors, Milwaukee Bucks, Houston Rockets, San Antonio Spurs, Utah Jazz, Denver Nuggets and Los Angeles Clippers recorded victories to move ahead in the league. The World Anti-Doping Agency said that its compliance arm will review allegations that Russia manipulated key data at the center of its state-sponsored doping scandal by the end of November. WADA said it had received responses from Russian authorities to a series of detailed and technical questions by the agency's Intelligence and Investigations Department. The Tokyo Organizing Committee of the Olympic and the Paralympic Games Tokyo 2020 unveiled the new Ariake Gymnastics Center that will host gymnastic and the Boccia events during the Tokyo 2020 Games. Tokyo City officials are in a public feud with the International Olympic Committee over the IOC plans made without consulting the city or local organizers to move next year's Tokyo Olympics marathons 800 kilometers north to Sapporo to avoid the capital's summer heat. The abrupt decision to shift the marathons and race walks was announced almost 2 weeks ago by the IOC. Linda Hamilton, the original Sarah Connor of Terminator and Terminator 2, is back for a third time in Terminator Dark Fate. Actor James Cameron has returned to the series. British-American actress Rachel Weisz is all set to play the role of Elizabeth Taylor in the upcoming biopic A Special Relationship. The film will be directed by the duo of Bert and Bertie. Malcolm Barrett, Rebecca Noemi Jones along with others have joined the cast of Genius Eratha. The story of the movie will revolve around the life of a titular Grammy Award winner and musical icon. Superman and Law is soon to come with actors Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Tulloch. The series will showcase the world's famous superhero and a journalist dealing with stress and pressure. Ranveer Singh has shaved off his signature 83 moustache. Ranveer will be seen next in filmmaker Kabir Khan's 83. Ranveer plays Kapil Dev, who led the underdog Indian cricket team to a famous victory against the West Indies in the finals of the 1983 World Cup. Akshay Kumar's film Houseful 4 records a huge collection, making 80 crore rupees in 4 days. Akshay Kumar's star Houseful 4, that saw a slight dip in the numbers on Sunday owing to Diwali, picked up momentum on Monday and made 30 crore rupees on day 4. Actors Venkatesh and Shriya Saran have signed on to star in Telugu remake of recent Tamil blockbuster Asuran, which starred Dhanush in dual roles as father and son. Preeti Zinta and Veer Das are set to guest star in an episode of ABC's Fresh Off the Board that is expected to serve as the basis for a spin-off show. The network has long been planning to develop a spin-off for the show, which follows the lives of a Taiwanese-American family in Florida in the 1990s. Bollywood actor Kriti Sanon has started the first schedule of shooting in Rajasthan for her upcoming film Mimi. Actress Deepika Padukone hit 40 million followers on Instagram, shared a warm video expressing her gratefulness. The Padmavat actor penned down 40 personalized notes on having crossed the 40 million mark. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the news. Thanks for being with us.